Hello everyone and welcome back to my Gintama arc review series, where I am currently in the process of reviewing every single arc in Gintama in order. Today we're taking on the second arc in the series under the name of the Umibozu arc, which covers 7 manga chapters and 3 anime episodes. This arc displays a blatant focus on Kagura, since Kanko, also known as the Umibozu, just so happens to be her father. He's renowned as one of the strongest alien hunters in the universe, which by extension makes him one of the strongest characters in the series. This time we'll be delving into his and Kagura's backstory, along with receiving some much needed characterization for many characters, and that's including our protagonist Gintoki, and of course Kagura. Welcome to the Gintama Umibozu arc review. This amazing new movie called Aliens vs. Yakuza just dropped and it's the talk of the city. Even the mechanics working down in the terminal are excited about it. During their banter, the man himself, the Umibozu, shows up after throwing a dead corpse of a quite generic looking alien next to them, stating, "There's a good chance that monster's main body has escaped into Edo." Before long, he made his way to the Shinsengumi headquarters to report the emergency to Kondo, who then relayed the information to the citizens of the city. Next, a news camera captured the aliens' features inside of the Oedo Bank, which gave Kanko and the Shinsengumi our aliens' location, so they swiftly made their way there. As soon as Kanko arrived, Kagura, Gin, and Shin were in the process of being devoured, so he promptly made quick work of the monster. This is where the actual revelation about the Umibozu being Kagura's dad happens. Meanwhile, the Shinsengumi have the whole place surrounded and literally dress Kondo up in a cute alien costume. And, they either seriously believe this plan will work, or they're just out here having fun. Honestly, knowing the Shinsengumi and their relationships, Sogo, being the sadist he is, most likely convinced the chief to wear this ridiculous outfit. So yeah, I'd say both. The Oddjobs and Kanko make their way to a diner, where Kanko buys the Oddjobs members a snack, while Kagura introduces them. The peace doesn't last long though. Soon enough, father and daughter Yato begin brawling it out on the Edo rooftops. It's during this bout where we discover Kanko is here to take Kagura back to their home planet. His reasoning boils down to it being too dangerous living with a shady guy like Gin, plus to avoid hurting the one she holds close when her Yato instincts eventually kick in again, something Kanko himself wasn't able to do. Kagura, with resolve in her eyes, confidently states, "I don't want to live a life where I just give up. I'm going to change here. I know if I stay here, I can change." Sadly, this doesn't alter Kanko's opinion though, because he then continues to smack her upside the face and hurls her towards 2 citizens. Gin, thankfully, manages to cushion her fall just in time, while saving those 2 as well. Gintoki was not Kagura's savior in this scenario though. Quite the opposite, in fact. His words absolutely crushed her after he too repeated what Kanko had said during their fight. The Oddjobs have yet again become split up. We begin the second episode with a flashback to Kagura's home planet. We see a younger Kagura sitting in the rain without an umbrella, stricken by loneliness. Her mother was ill and bedridden, her brother left a long time ago and never came home, and her father rarely comes back. Plus, whenever he does, it's not for very long. Kanko would tell her every time that he had to go out in order to make money, so it was her job to watch her mom. This brutal cycle continued for most of her formative years. Kagura stayed by her mother's side until she, in the end, succumbed to her illness and passed away. After that, Kagura now had no more reason to stay on that hellhole of a planet, so she left her nest for the first time ever, and headed to Earth in hopes of finding new horizons. In the terminal, Gin and Shin are nowhere to be seen to send her off, as Kanko strengthens his resolve to treat her better now. He admits it's his fault for causing her loneliness and desires to change things for the better. A scene in the luggage cabin of their ship reveals the deadly alien was only able to reach Earth thanks to Prince Hatsa. Of course it was him. And now he wants to bring it back to his home planet for his zoo, I think. His butler accidentally trips and breaks the containment tube for the alien, so it is now roaming free yet again. Whether it's causing Hasegawa to lose his job or releasing a deadly alien onto the planet, that duo always seems to screw up something. Back at the Oddjobs, Shinpachi is furious with Gintoki for firing Kagura, and throws him on the floor with anger. I never really expect Shinpachi to be serious at all, so when he broke out in a fit of rage here, I was taken aback. The utter emotion the animators managed to draw is impressive to say the least. After that though, he quit his job and walked out. He dashes to the terminal to stop Kagura from leaving and breaks his way through security. While being chased, he speedily climbs up a ladder and hopelessly attempts to convince Kagura to come back before it's too late. Just after he gets her attention though, the alien gets its way onto the ship's passenger cabin. It had evolved insanely fast because of the terminal's ridiculous amount of energy, and within minutes, it had surrounded the entire ship. When we cut back to Gin, well, he's just working. That's it. He's just going about business as usual. This leads me to believe he wouldn't have gone after Kagura, or Shinpachi for that matter, if their lives weren't at stake. This isn't a criticism or anything, it's just interesting to note. I have no doubt in my mind that it did hurt Gintoki to push Kagura away like he did, even if it seemed like he was fine. He probably wasn't even sure if he made the right decision, and went job hunting to take his mind off things. Hell, he's had to make hard choices like this all his life. I obviously won't spoil it for you, but if you've seen episode 305, you know what I'm talking about. But of course, the alien did attack, so Gintoki got off his ass, rode Sadaharu straight to the terminal and into one of the alien's many mouths. Right before the second episode concludes, we find out Kagura received a terrible wound on her stomach. Surely this only happened because she was trying to protect Gintoki, or maybe her dad, right? Maybe Shinpachi, at least someone she cares about, right? Guess again, it's the prince! Kanko saves our already injured Kagura, who is then viciously yanked away from her dad. During this, he loses his left arm, which turns out to be a prosthetic. Not gonna lie, when I first saw this scene, I immediately assumed he was a cyborg, and then obviously got a bit disappointed when I found out the truth. Though a metal arm is still pretty cool. As Kagura is about to be eaten, Gin bursts out of its body and slashes the thing with backup from Kanko, who saves them both. Next, we finally get to see the Shinsengumi actually doing something, rather than just dressing up in rather stupid Halloween costumes. Kondo orders a few tanks to fire at the monstrosity, which in actuality does output a lot of damage to the alien. You have to be careful what they're firing at though, since Gin, Kagura, and Kanko are still right there. After some more battling, our duo managed to reveal the alien's core, which has trapped Kagura inside in order to utilize her energy for its own purposes. Continuing, Matsudaira, the leader of the Shinsengumi, brings forth a fleet of airships ready to fire on the terminal after a 5-minute countdown, is what should have happened. Instead, well, I'll just let you see for yourself.
あれ今押した嘘今押したいや5時から娘のパーティーあるからして
Oh, I love this show. Next, Attack on Titan style, Gintoki attempts to wake Kagura up inside the core. In her dream world, Gin mocks her while eating Kagura's favorite snack, pickled seaweed, and she gets rightfully pissed. Out of pure instinct alone, she punches Gin's face out of rage and subsequently wakes up. Gintoki and Kanko then continue to obliterate its core, but Matsudaira's actions are still in play, so the Matsu Blaster fires. With only his umbrella, Kanko manages to stop the blast from injuring anyone, which makes me question, how? Are the Yato's umbrellas also super strong? Is everything from this damn planet adamantium? Actually, you know what? So go slice the damn car in half. I think it's fine if Kanko has this ultra strong umbrella. Hey, it might have even been custom built, who knows? Finally, we move on to my favorite scene in the arc, where Gintoki and Kanko are just talking about things as the episode wraps up. One of these things involved Kamui, Kanko's son, and a custom of the Yato clan he partook in called parent killing. This was a practice where a person's worth was determined by surpassing their parents. This custom died off many years ago, but Kamui attempted to revive it, which is where Kanko lost his arm. If Kagura hadn't stopped him from murdering his son, Kamui would very well be dead right now, and Kagura would have wound up with an even more depressing backstory. Afraid that Kagura would one day seek his head as well, he stayed far away from the planet. He lived in fear of not being able to suppress his Yato instincts, and one day accidentally killing his daughter on a rampage. After Kanko finished discussing this, Gin told him about the letters Kagura would always send to Kanko. Since he has no permanent address though, they would always wind up back at Gin's house. He let her believe her dad was receiving these letters and kept them all hidden away just in case he ever met him, which he finally has now, so Gintoki gave him one. Gin then begins to reminisce about his life, stating, "I wish I had a family like yours." Ironic, ain't it? How the people who don't have things usually understand them better than the ones who do. So cherish her, okay? And then the camera pans to an eavesdropping Kagura, who, like me in this scene, was absolutely bawling their eyes out. Shinpachi was also eavesdropping here, and he simply said, "Let me make it clear, I'm staying at the odd jobs for good. You can think of me as family." The arc ends with a narration of Kagura's letter to Kanko, stating her impressions of the Earth so far and her dream of desiring to travel the universe with her dad to become the top alien hunter of the galaxy. As it turns out, the first Gintama arc to make me cry is terrific. The pacing is once again great, and the theme of family is handled excellently. We receive some much needed characterization and backstory for Kagura, with her love for Edo and the odd jobs being well apparent all throughout the arc. Everything was, well, pretty good, even great at times. As for the score, I believe a 7.5 will suffice. And with that, I'm going to wrap up my Umibozu arc review. Next time, we'll be crawling our way to the Infant Strife arc, where Gin gets a kid. Thank you so much for watching. Please do press subscribe if you haven't already. Like or dislike, and leave your thoughts and opinions on the Umibozu arc in the comments below. That's about all I had to say, so I'll see you next time.